Okay, so day two of the picture lab, that was today in class, and our challenge was to write two methods, more or less. We looked at the inheritance hierarchy in Magpie, and the first day of the picture lab, we didn't talk about very advanced concepts like inheritance or interfaces. But now the College Board is saying it's important to be familiar with those concepts before doing this part of this lab. All this stuff at the bottom of the page, this has to make sense to us. If our plan is to take the AP exam on May 2nd, all this stuff down here has to make sense to us. Okay, there's the food chain metaphor again. All this stuff here, the big class on the left, the little class on the right, all this stuff has to be second nature to us to have success on May 2nd. Okay, then the next page, they talk about the word super. Did you read that? You need to. You need to make sure you're ready. Okay, the College Board made this, not Mr. Reisky. The College Board made this. All these terms here, we've gone over in class dozens of times. I gave you a handout of the quick reference, which is just the last page in this lesson. Right here is a quick reference, so you have a hard copy of that. It just keeps you organized. If you want to get the color makeup of a pixel, you know how to do it with the get red, get green, get blue. If you want to set the color makeup to something different, you know how to do it. Okay? If you want to get the average of the pixels for some reason, you know how to do it. If you want to get the matrix itself, you want to get all the pixels and put them into a matrix right there. That method returns a matrix, which is all the pixels in rows and columns of a picture. Okay, so this has to be our friend. We have to get used to this in the days to come. Okay, so back to day two's pages here. That's the first page. There's the second page. The middle and bottom of page two shows you how we make picture objects. As I just mentioned before, here's how we make a matrix that consists of all the pixels in a picture. And then here's our old friend, the enhanced for loop. We use that to go through matrices, including matrices of pixels. Page 3, the traditional type for loop. We could use that as well to go through any kind of matrix, in particular a matrix of pixels. And then our challenge was to open up Picture Tester and write this method called convert to black and white. Okay, convert to black and white. So Picture Tester and write the method called convert to black and white. Right now we have the main down here in Picture Tester, and the main has lots of things it could call, lots of things, and we just take turns calling these things and also make new things for it to call, make new methods for it to call. So yesterday we were calling test 0 blue, and our picture lost all of its blue. Today we are going to call convert to black and white, I think it was, right? I'll check in a second. Convert to black and white. Make sure that's right. Convert to black and white. Yeah, convert to black and white. Okay. And so it is going to be a void method in the class. I'll just put it down here next to main so I can see it. In the first line of code, it says to make a picture object from the pic called female, lion, and hall. Okay, so picture is the object type. Picture pic. You gotta make it a string. The picture constructor wants a string, so we send it a string. Which is a string representation of the file name. I do it right? Female lion and hall. Good. Okay. Next up, display the picture using the explore method. Okay. So explore method we've been using in class. Let's see. So we just do pic.explore. So we could stop right there and we would see the picture on the screen if it's all working. Good. Picture tester, right? Picture tester. And there it is. So there's the picture. We stored this JPEG into a picture object and then called the method called explore, which more or less puts it on the screen. So far, so good. Next up, we create a 2D pixel array from the picture using getPixels2D. Okay, and that's tough first time doing it. You could just go back to the book here and copy and paste the line of code if it's really confusing for you still. You just go right here, hit Control C, and put it into the method. Okay, that works fine. Okay. Whenever I make a matrix, almost always by default, I call mine mat for matrix because that's what the AP exam calls their matrices more often than not. But you can call yours whatever you want. The next step says to use enhanced for loops. Okay, again, this is the College Board talking. They say use enhanced for loops, for each loops, to go through the matrix. So let's go through the matrix. Actually, this is Blue Pelican's version of the College Board lab, but they're pretty similar. And again, I could copy this too. I could copy this right from the book as well if you're nervous about this still. Right there it is on the previous page. I could just go right there, Control C it. All I gotta do is change the name of the matrix. Okay. Because I called it mat, so I'll have to go through mat and not pixels. And everything else should work, I think. Okay. And then what do we do in there? We are supposed to do what inside the loop? Get the average of the RGB values. Okay, get the average of the RGB values. So every pixel has a red and a green and a blue value. They're all ints. So we want to get the average of each of those for each pixel and then set that pixel to it. So the pixel is named pixObject, pixObj. So we can go, let's see, we want to set them into the int fields that are red, green, and blue. We want to eventually use, okay, we want to eventually use from our quick reference these methods in the pixel class down here. Get red, get green, get blue. And then we'll set them, set red, set green, set blue. What do you want to set them to? You want to set them to the average of the pixels. Okay? The average of the pixels. So this average is a double, and set red, set green, set blue want to int. So they're not going to match exactly well, are they? We're going to have to cast probably. Okay. So let's see. We can go int average equals pixobj.getAverage, and then I guess we'll want to cast that to int so it'll be able to fit inside int AVE. Okay, and then we'll set red to AVE, and we'll set green and blue also to AVE. And then we're probably about done with this thing. Want to see our work? We displayed it once before we changed it, before we made it all gray, before we took out all the saturation of the colors. And so now we will call pick.explore one more time and see it on the screen, hopefully, with all the color gone. Let's see. Braces don't look right. Yeah, I knew the braces were off. Let's see. What did I do? Violet. Good. And picture tester. Good. So again, we just played it before with all the pretty colors, and then after with all of the grays. All the pixels have the same value for red, green, and blue, and that's what makes something gray, we learned in the lesson. Light gray are the higher number, and the dark grays are the lower numbers.